Hello ladies, I am jumping on because I got a few requests to create a video showing how I covered up this lovely gnarly black eye. So I thought I would make a video for you guys. The first thing that I am using is our ShadowSense in the Whisper Pink. Now, typically they say to cover it with a reddish color to then put concealer over that, but when I tried that last night, it didn't work as well. So I tried the Whisper Pink this morning and that seemed to work a little bit better. Now, our concealers, or our ShadowSense, our waterproof, smudge proof, smear proof, long lasting, so this will last all day, which is a huge bonus because when I go to my wedding on Saturday, I don't really want this black eye showing up. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cover the entire black eye with this shadow. And I'm going to cover it pretty generously. Normally I would tell you, well, I guess I'd want to do a thin layer. And then if I need more, I can always add to it. Our products go a really long way, so you never really need a lot. Then I'm just going to pat it. Because if you rub it, it will probably just make the color show back through again. So I am just going to pat it all over the black and blue. All right. And then I am going to let that dry probably for at least 5 minutes and then do the next coat. Okay, so now that I have let that first coat dry for about 5 minutes or so, I am going to go ahead and apply a second coat. And this time I am once again using the ShadowSense, but I am going to use it in a sandstone pearl this time. So it's a little bit more neutral of a color. I typically use this as a concealer for both under my eyes and for any blemishes or redness that I have. So I am going to just go through and dab it all on, just right over where I put it before. Now this morning I used a different color. I used Candlelight, which has just a slight more orangish color tint to it. So I am kind of experimenting here right along with you guys. I want to try and get the best possible outcome for my brother-in-law's wedding on Saturday. So I'm just kind of experimenting here, and we shall see. And again, the Candlelight is the long-lasting. And we will just dab that all on. For those of you who don't know, this black eye was caused by my kids fighting over a remote control for the TV. And one of them decided that because he didn't want his brother to have it, that he would throw it. And I never saw it coming, and it hit me square in the eye socket. So, which I have actually been debating about whether or not to go to the doctor because it's not getting any better right there. And I'm hoping that it's not broken. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't look black and blue anymore, but it is not exactly blended in. So I am now going to let this coat dry for about 5 minutes or so and then go in with the next layer. Okay, so for the next coat, I am going to mix some of our foundation, which is again the long lasting, with some of the translucent powder. And this will get you a much thicker coverage than just one or the other. So because I already have foundation on the rest of my face, I'm just going to do a tiny little squirt. Now when you're doing this, I would suggest either using a palette or a hard plastic surface, like something like this. And then the next thing I am going to do is just tap a small amount of the powder right onto the foundation. If you can see that there, I need a little bit more. All right, oh, that might have been too much. And then I just mix it together. Now I do the same thing for my all over foundation whenever I need a little bit more coverage. So if I have blemishes, redness, something else going on more than normal, and I want a fuller, thicker coverage of foundation, I will just mix the concealer and the powder to do that. So then I just mix it all together and then just dab it on my eye there. And again, I'm just going right over the same spots here. And this foundation is in the color Dewey. Now what I have realized too is that because the color of my eye is already starting to change, it's going more green, what I may do this weekend will be a little bit different. So I'm going to have to see if this color will still work or if I'll need a different color based on what that is. And then I am just going to use a foundation brush. It's a little bit more dense to just stipple that in by just patting it. And again, I don't want to do any of the rubbing. I'm just patting it, just stippling it so that we don't rub out any of that color to reveal the black and blue underneath. And then down below, to blend it in more, I can do that. Now when I did this morning, it was all prior to my foundation. So then I did all my foundation after that. So I was able to blend it in a lot better. So obviously this doesn't look real blended in right now. I would have to go through and put foundation all over my face again to blend it in. But as you can see, the black and blue is pretty much gone, which is amazing. And it doesn't look too cakey because I set it with that powder. That's one of the reasons you definitely, when you're doing that much concealer under your eye, you're definitely going to want to set it with the powder, because otherwise it'll start to look really cakey. And that's another reason why I let it dry for about 5 minutes in between each coat too. So yeah, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I would love to answer them for you. Just post them in the comments below or send me a message. Thanks so much for watching, ladies.